Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and I couldn't let the month of May come to an end without doing one more piece of prettiness for my mermaid journal. I made this journal a few years ago. It's a monster and it still has some blank pages. So every year for Mermaid, I make something and add it to it until I run out of pages. Then I'll make another mermaid journal. So what we're going to do today, I have this little printout here. This is a freebie that I got from Victoria Designs. It was called Atlantis, so she has an Atlantis kit, but this was a little freebie that she sent out. So I have printed this out onto a piece of matte photo paper. So it's got a bit of tooth to it because it's a little bit thicker. I also printed the second sheet that was part of this freebie, but what I did, this is just on presentation paper, so it's thinner, and I printed it at half size. So this is meant to be like, a full-size journal page. Well, I certainly don't need that, but by printing it at half size, snipping it down the middle, I can turn this into 2 journaling cards. And the last bit that I have here, this is a freebie from Seven Plaza. It's a pack of 10 different grungy sort of papers, and I loved this map page. So I've just printed this out on normal copy paper. So I'm going to go and do some cutting out. You don't need to watch me sit there and play with scissors. And when that's all done, I'll come back and we'll start creating. So using freebies and kits is fabulous, and they're usually very pretty, and if you don't want to, you usually don't really have to do much and they're ready to go. But I like to give them my own personal flair. And I've decided with this particular lot, I want to give it a bit of a fantasy, glam, add some bling type arrangement and personalize it. So the very first thing I need to do, in front of me here, I have 3 pieces of seaweed. I die cut them out of magazine pages, so they're a little bit multicolored, like they're absolutely perfect for what I'm going to use them for, but I want to just add a little bit of bling. So what I've done, I've got my little, this I grabbed from work, with a bonus bit of black thread. It's a little plastic container that deodorant bottles came in. So I nabbed it and I use it over and over again when I want to do splatters. Now, what I'm going to do my splatters with is this. This is actually calligraphy ink, and I bought this ages ago off Temu because, in the video they showed with this how glimmery and sparkly it was, and I thought, yeah, right, they always make things look fabulous on videos, but this actually is the most beautiful gold. There is, of course, no reason why you can't just use gold paint. It does the job perfectly. So I'm just going to pop a little bit in here, and I mean little bit, because for this particular job, all I want to do is create some splatters on here and give these guys a bit of gold highlight. So this is like total fantasy because I don't know of any seaweed that has gold highlights, but guess what? I want some. And I like to splatter with a fan brush. And if you're using paint especially, you do need to water it down a bit, otherwise it gets too thick and gluggy. Now, if you ever want to do really big splatters, then make sure your brush is holding a lot of paint. In this case, I just want some little ones on these little pieces. So I have only mixed together a tiny bit. I'm fluffing it off because I don't want huge splatters. And then you just gently tap it on. Now, I hope I have made enough. I might need a bit more. Maybe I've been a bit too shy here. Nope, there we go. I can see there's nice little bits of gold. I don't need a lot. I just want a little bit of shimmer on them. Tiny bit more. Use up this last little bit I've got here. And then when this dries, it just leaves a lovely little bit of sparkle on them. So they need to go and dry off for a little bit, but I just thought I would show you quickly how I do that and just give you a bit of an idea of where I'm headed with this project today. Luckily, I have this double spread area available in my mermaid journal because I want to do it as two separate bits, but I do need them to become a little bit cohesive. So the first thing I want to do, you'll see I've got a piece of black plastic down on my desk to protect it. And I've used a couple of these, you know, cheapo plastic pockets to protect everything else from getting covered in blue. And I've got this Colour Blast Colour Shimmer Spray. I don't even know if it'll work, but we're going to give it a go. And let's just see if I can get any out. Oh, I can, because I do feel I want some blue on this page. And seeing this is all about Atlantis, which of course is, you know, wherever it may actually have been. It's one thing we do know for sure, it's definitely submerged. So now, might just, yeah, I'll leave it at that. So layer number one is some lovely shimmery blue. And I might even just get a little bit, not that you'll probably see it over on the other page, but I'll put a couple of tiny bits there for a little bit of shimmer on that side. So that can now go aside to dry for a few minutes. So this ink is all dry and my paper has gone a little bit wrinkly, but look, almost looks a bit like water. I don't care. It's all good. But I love the colour, and I've even got a little bit of shimmer over on this side, so I am happy with that. But I just want to add a couple of other little tiny bits to this before we start working with the ephemera. I've got this little stencil that I think I got off AliExpress years ago, and I'm going to add just a little bit of wavy arrangements across the top, because this is Atlantis themed. A lot of people believe that Atlantis definitely existed many, many, many years ago, but I know archaeologists are still deliberating as to exactly where this supposed place might have been. So what I want to do is just, I'm going to use Distress Oxide, Uncharted Mariner, which is a lovely deep blue, and I'm going to just get a bit of ink on here, and I just want to add a few little waves up the top. Not a lot, but it's just signifying that this is Atlantis, it's under the water, and that's that. So we're not going to add too much. I certainly don't want to overdo it, but I think that covers it. So now we're definitely underwater. And the other thing I've got is, this is a stencil from Stamperia. What I've done with some additional bits for this spread, I've got out my Songs of the Sea kit from Stamperia, and I bought this stencil. It's meant to look like, you know, what is the word, Nick? Net. That's the magic word. And what I want to do is just put a little bit of this net down in this corner. So what I've done this time, I'm grabbing Distress ink in brushed corduroy, and we're just going to sort of put a little bit of net down in this corner. Again, don't need to overdo it. I'm just adding a little bit of interest to my background. And what I might do is just put a tiny bit over here. Not sure if you'll even see it, but I don't mind if you do. Well, that's a bonus, and if not, too bad. Oh, perfect. That worked out exactly as I wanted. So now we can get on with making some ephemera. So the first thing I want to do is make a belly band. And there was nothing in the kit that sort of suited making the actual belly band. So this is a piece of paper from Songs of the Sea. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but what I've done, I've put some gold around the edges. And how I did that was with this gold stamp pad. You just open up your stamp pad and just rub it around the edges. Now, the only thing is when you do this, sometimes it can be a little thick. You need to do it in advance and let it dry. So that's why I've done that, and I've let it sit for a while and dry off. And it does have this lovely little gold sheen around the edge. I'm just not sure how well the camera will pick that up. Now, this is a little piece from the kit, and what I want to do is, I think it's a tiny bit too long. Yeah, I need to snip a dash off it. We might just take that tiny bit there. And I want to ink the edge of this. So, but we're not going to go everything gold. I think for this to stand out, I'm just going to do this in brushed corduroy. Okay, edge is inked. Now we are just going to flip that over and grab some glue. Don't have to worry too much about getting carried away with the glue. It's literally just going to be sitting down on this piece purely as a little bit of decoration. So we're going to pop that on there. Then the next thing we're going to add is this piece from the kit. I think it was maybe was designed to be a label or something. I don't care. But again, I want to add some contrast. So I'm going to go around the edges and just, I want to make this edge a little bit darker so that this stands out. And so again, using Uncharted Mariner, it's the darkest blue that I have. And now I want to add that. I don't mind. I want it to hang over the edge a little bit. I love having things a little off center and hanging over the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not add glue right up to the edge. We'll just add some. And we're going to let that overhang just a little. Also want to add this gorgeous jewel. This is out of the Fussy Cut book by Stamperia. And again, I added that little bit of gold around the edge and left it for a little while to dry. Now I just have to make sure I have the right side up where the actual gold is, otherwise it will be glued down. This is a great Fussy Cut book where the image is on both sides, so that can be quite handy. And then I want to place that, and it just fits in there perfectly. Now, the only other thing I wanted to do, but the trouble is I've been umming and ahhing about this. Now, unfortunately, I did not have any square jewels. Otherwise, I would have definitely put a square jewel down there. But I haven't got any. So I'm going to have to pick a round one. And I want to put it up here. See, I told you there was going to be bling and sparkly bits. And I'm thinking seeing there's that little bit of tealy, aquary something in there, I think we might go with this as well. That way it just stands out a little bit as something different. Otherwise it's all very, you know, blues and neutrals. And we're just going to pop that on there. That one there, and then one more down here. There we go. Oh, I do like that, and they stand out a little bit. I'm glad I picked that colour. I went through so much of my bling trying to pick the right one, and I am happy with that choice. So that's our belly band, and now we're going to work on the 2 journaling cards. So as I said before, I printed these down at A5 so I can make nice large journaling cards for this, and I have put that little bit of gold around the edge, and we're going to add a little mermaid to this. I decided we had to have some mermaids happening in this. Now, I've got this little printable. I don't know where it came from, but I want her on here. And the whole idea is that she's dreaming about being on land, wearing ball gowns and having a wonderful time. The only trouble is I feel in the frame that just looks a little bit off. So I'm thinking I might fussy cut roughly around the edges and get rid of the frame, because I just don't know if that just sort of looks quite right. And we might just add a little bit of ink around the edges. I think that will do. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. I love it. So, yes, there's our little mermaid. She's wishing she was living on land, going to the balls and all the fun things that young girls do. Done. And I think we might leave that one as that. I feel I want to add something else, but I haven't decided. I don't know what yet, so I'll leave that one for now, but that's the principle of the first one. Then the second one, we are going to start with these little die cuts I made earlier that now have pretty gold sprinkles on them, little spots. So they're very shimmery and lovely. And do we have room for all 3? Can I make that work? I think I can. We'll just layer them up a little bit. Oh yes, that's cute. So now we just have to glue these down. So flipping them over, look, you can see this was a magazine page, and we're just dabbing on little bits of glue. Love that. And then I just wanted to add one more little bit of something, but I didn't want it to be too overpowering. So I found this little starfish stamp, and I'm going to use this Brilliance pearlescent sky blue ink. And we're going to add just a little starfish. I was going to put some fishies on there, but I looked at this, and because this is all, you know, a little bit pale, I went, oh, I don't know if I want to be that extreme. And I've just thrown that on the floor, but that's okay. And now we've got a cute little starfish playing down in the seaweed. And I think we'll call that done. You know how I said I wanted something else on this? Well, I have been through all my stamps and I wanted the word dream or dreaming or something. I had nothing that would fit, but I did find adventure awaits, and I have decided I need one of those there. So we're just going to use my brushed corduroy. If I've got decent coverage, I think I do. You can, of course, use normal stamp ink. You don't have to, use distress ink, but I've got it on my desk, so that's what we're going to use. And I'm just going to pop that on there. That's better. I knew I needed something. I'm happy with that. So now we can add all of these cute bits to our journal. Let's pop this in here. Right, so let's get this in here. We'll start off by gluing in the belly band. So all we have to do is we add a little bit of glue along the top and the bottom. Then pick where you'd like it on your page. I don't think I want it central. I think we're going to head over a little bit to the side because this journal's getting so fat. I think it's safer to have things closer to the outside than fully in the center. Now, normally you do leave this to dry and get a little bit solid, but what we're going to do is tuck this in here. And this one as well. Actually, why don't we do it like that? Because they're going to get caught on my little seaweeds. Spread them out. And you get a little glimpse of the mermaid and the pretty seaweeds. And we can call that page done for now. Time to head over to the other side. So the first thing I want to do is add a little bit of something to my two little pockets. So what I've done is grabbed my little glue pen here, and I'm going to use a little bit of gold sparkly stuff. This is just a cheapy version of gold foil, but it does the job. And what I wanted to do was just add a few little highlights. And what I'm doing is using this glue pen because you can get a pretty thin little layer. And I'm just sort of going around the edge of these leaves. I'm not going to colour it in completely. I just want to add a little bit of something. So when you're working with this gold leaf, it does get a bit messy. But what I've done is put a little piece of, just a plain piece of copy paper down. So that just like when you're using embossing powder, when all the little bits are done, you can just tip it back into here. So now we're going to do the same thing for this one. Just using the glue stick, glue pen actually, I should say. I just find you can get quite a nice, relatively thin outline. And because it's in a pen shape, you've sort of got good control over where it goes. But I just want to add a few highlights. Like, it doesn't have to be perfectly covered or anything like that. Need a tiny bit more up here in the corner. And you don't have to waste any because all the little bits you can keep and use in a later project. Now, the one thing I find the easiest way to get rid of the excess, I've got an old paintbrush. It's a little bit rough, But what I find is it does a great job in just getting rid of the excess. You're sort of peeling it off, so to speak. It's time to put the final bits down on this page. So this is a bit of the map that I printed out. Now, I was going to use this as the belly band, but this piece got lost in it. So I'm left over with this. So we're going to use it here. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a little tuck spot out of it. So I'm only going to apply some glue. Right, we're going to pop that down there. Don't want to hide everything. Also not going to put it right up on the edge because this page is definitely bent in a little bit. And then, of course, we do need a mermaid. So this is a piece from my Songs of the Sea kit that I bought from Stamperia. And she's sort of just the perfect size to include here. So we're just adding a little bit of glue. And I'm sort of going to pop her about here. I don't want to hide all that little hint of blue there because I feel that sort of ties in together. And I like this little bit down here. So we'll pop her right in the middle there. Now we need to put our pockets down. So I just want to glue these three sides. And the other one, I'm just using my thumb to mark where I don't want glue. Now, just have to do this little journaling card. Now, the one for the top pocket, this was a piece of, I think it's a piece of AI art that I got from one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and I just absolutely love that. I think it's perfect for my ship pocket up the top here. So that's going in there. But I didn't have anything for down below, so I thought we just had to make one. I've taken a piece of music page, put it onto the back of a grocery bag just to give it a little bit of strength. I've stamped on this partial compass, and then there were two of these little bits. I'm not going to use the other one, but this one here was one of the little bits of ephemera in that freebie. I've just put a tiny bit of gold ink with my stamp pad, and we're going to put this down here. Now, I couldn't decide what to do with this piece. I sort of didn't really have anywhere else to put it. So I've decided it's going down the bottom of this journaling card. We're just going to cut that bit off, and I might just put a little bit of blue ink on the edge. And we'll pop that right down here. Now, it will hang over the edge just a tiny bit. I might just trim that off because will it... Oh, no, it might fit. I might leave it there, actually. Okay, we might be able to get that into my pocket. We'll see. except I should yes, I think we should be able to make that work. But I'll let that dry just for a second. Another piece, there was this bit in the kit, which I've already cut in half, submerged sculptures. Well, I didn't like the sculptures word at all, so we're tossing that. But I wanted to use this word submerge because, let's be honest, that's what Atlantis is all about. It's submerged somewhere at the bottom of the sea. So I thought we'll definitely use that and not waste it. And I think we'll put it right down the bottom here, right over to the edge. Now, I found this in my stash, this cute little pearl, and I decided I had to use it. So we're actually going to quickly add this over down into this corner here. Just a little extra something. And, of course, I found pearls with some others attached, which we don't need. That was the perfect size to go in the middle here. So I think we'll add one of these. I don't ever trust the glue on these things. Usually you end up with most of it left on the piece of plastic. So I always glue these down. And we just nudge that into the center. Oh, perfect. Voila. Okay, now let's see if we can fit this in here, or do I have to trim it off? Oh, no, it works. Haha, perfect. There we go. And then the lucky last piece I'm putting in, this was, I suppose, a journal card. It was in the kit. And what I did, I added some gold foil to this. This was my little trial, because my good gold foil, the better quality one, I couldn't find. But I had this cheapy packet. I actually got given it in a Christmas swap once. And I just did a bit of a trial to make sure it would work, and it did. And what we're going to do is just tuck that in this little tuck spot. So we've got sort of shimmery goldy bits. We're submerged. We've got this beautiful belly band with these really lovely big journaling cards. And I think I better call this spread done. I know it's so easy just to keep going. Like when I found the little shell, I went, yeah, I've got to put that on. And then I wanted to add all these other things, and I thought, I think this is busy enough. But I love how it turned out. So this is my Atlantis spread. It's just, I adore it. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So there you go. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below. I'd love it if you would give this video a thumbs up. And let me know if you did any fun mermaid things. You can also tag me on Instagram if you did some fun mermaid things, because I would love to have a look. I love everything ocean, everything mermaids. It's definitely my jam. So that's it until next time. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.